Okay, so a bit different now. Mostly just because I got this for Christmas and I thought I'd talk about it. Joe Wicks Lean in 15. I don't know if he gets sold anywhere else apart from the UK, which if you couldn't tell from the accent, that's where I'm from. But he's like an exercise guru, I guess, who is also a chef and he makes all these meals which apparently take 15 minutes to do, and they're going to be really good for you, and they taste good. And I've done it a few times now, so I thought I'd talk about it a bit because there's, I guess, got a few opinions on it. I guess the general view on this is that it's good in, an ideal world, but it's not where we live. So yeah, basically a lot of Joe Wick's meals are basically the whole point is to kind of stock up on carbs, but at the same time be lean. So you've got pork chops and feta beetroot. You got I don't know. I'm showing you. So you can't see the picture of terry tuna with melon and feta, all this kind of stuff. And it all looks very lovely on the picture, and it's all very good for you, and it's all very minimal and all that kind of jazz. And if you eat this, it won't be too bad. And he's even got a plan in here somewhere which I can't find right now, but he's got like a timetable which you could follow, and I guess you could follow it. I wouldn't personally. It seems a bit mental, especially the first 2 days, because in the evening on Monday you're supposed to do chest and back, and then in the morning, the next morning on Tuesday, you're supposed to then do arms. And I'm not saying I'm the biggest fella in the world, but I go to the gym, and I can safely say if I did chest and back on the same day, which is a long day, by the way. That I don't know if you're including lower back in this. It doesn't say, but let's say you do deadlifts as well as your upper back and all that kind of stuff, as well as chest. That's fucking excruciatingly long, and that's probably the biggest muscles personally for me that I hit. I guess apart from shoulders. Um, so to add those two together would be quite poor. Um, so then to do arms the next day, which chest uses triceps and back uses biceps, is going to be fucking horrible. I don't know where you go from there. It's just painful. I mean, I guess then you do legs the next day. I think that's the plan. But again, that's all sessions are a big session, but you have your whole upper body dead. That's gonna be fucking ages until they've recovered, and that's just gonna be horrible, and you're not gonna want to do it again. And also on the plan, he kind of says what meals to have, and again, in an ideal world, this would be great, but it requires a lot of cooking, like a lot of fucking cooking. Like, I'm gonna go to a random page with a picture on it because you pointed a picture. All right, let's go with this. Let's go with butternut squash, chicken, and quinoa salad. As you can see, I've got dyslexia. And so the things you'll need for this is half a butternut squash, a few drizzles of olive oil, salt and pepper, 7 sage leaves, 5 midget trees, which is a small broccoli, 130 grams of quinoa, uncooked weight, yeah, a quarter of a cucumber, 6 radishes, 500 grams cooked skinless chicken breasts, sliced, juice of 2 lemons, small handfuls of alfalfa sprite, I can't pronounce that, pea shoots or mustard cress also works apparently, and then 3 tablespoons of pomegranate seeds, which again, if you have all these in the fridge, you're good to go. I can safely say I don't have the butternut squash. I did have sage leaves, but there's an issue with that, and I'll come back to that in a minute. I don't think we have quinoa. We have a cucumber randomly in the fridge. We have no radishes. I guess lemon juice will do. I don't think you need a whole lemon. I'm not on a fucking farm. Alfalfa, I don't know what those are. The alfalfa sprouts. I'm not the biggest cook, but I'm assuming we don't have it. And then pomegranate seeds, possibly. So I don't have 5 to 7 of those ingredients, which you think you could just reuse in other things, but you can't. But the main issue with this is, let's say you're at work, right? And you need to, make these. Okay, yeah, you could prepare them the day before, but he's asking for like 2 meals during work. So you've got to make all these things 2 days before, or a day before, sorry, which is a bit of effort just for the next day when you could just make a tuna sandwich, which is going to be a shit ton easier. But no, apparently you've got to work with that, which is a bit painful. And then, like I said, the next issue is a good example would be I made a risotto, and he says use half a leek, which you can't buy half a leek, you have to buy 4. And the issue with that is he very rarely says use leeks again. So we had 3 leeks, 3.5 leeks in the fridge, and I couldn't do anything with them, and they just went off because, funnily enough, a shit ton of these things just fucking go off. Like again, like I said, the sage leaf, they just go off. You just sell a sickly sweet smell in your fridge, and they've gone off, and that's a bit of a waste of food. And also, this is a shit ton of things to buy for one fucking meal. That's a lot of money. I am still unemployed, so I can't afford this shit. Maybe when I start work, I can afford to eat all this shit, but right now I can't. And also, I'm not Gordon fucking Ramsay. I don't find cooking the greatest thing in the fucking world. You know what I like having? A tuna sandwich, or beans, cheese on toast, or if I'm feeling adventurous, rice with chicken. That's my kind of thing. Not fucking sloppy Joe's pizza. Look at this fucking thing. Look at it. Why the fuck would I just go and buy a pizza? I don't understand. It just, I mean, yeah, I don't understand this. There's a pasta in here with 2 eggs. I don't fucking know. So yeah, and it's a good idea. And if you can follow it, it would be good because there are a few things you can freeze. The butternut chicken one is not one you can freeze apparently, so you have to eat that the next day or you're fucked, and you failed Joe Wicks. So yeah, if you live the Joe Wicks life, which is celebrity chef who has millions, you can afford to both buy and have the time and like pushed aside to do this. If you're not, you're going to struggle. So I've been trying to have this once a week, and even then, it's been a bit of a challenge, especially when you want to make it for multiple people, because you've got to multiply everything, which means multiplying more foods, which means probably more food's going to go to waste. So yeah, I'm going to give this, because it is a good idea, but I feel like the execution's a bit poor. It would have been nice if you put in a lasagna, just in case if anyone's thinking, well, it's probably a big meal in there. There's not. The maximum is serves 2, and that's his fucking pizza, which I don't want to eat. So yeah, I'm gonna give it. If you've got time, a 7. But if you're an average person, a 4. So there you go. Figure out if you're an average person or not. Joe Wicks.